welcome to January Wallflower.
Yes, this is the first official block in the new mystery quilt because we haven't done the bonus block yet.
We have not,
but
we will, and you'll see that very, very shortly.
Yes.
But this is super cute. It's got a lot of embellishment to it, which is fun. Very, very cool.
We still haven't seen the whole thing, but we have seen January, February, March, and a bonus block.
And a bonus block. So I mean, that's like a quarter of the year, right? So we are going to be doing this via quilting in the hoop, block by block.
Yes.
So if you don't have a large enough hoop, you of course can just stitch the design. Make sure that you are paying attention to alignments and things like that if that is the case, because it feels a little different when you're not doing it with the background quilting.
Absolutely.
But it's very straightforward all the way around from that perspective.
Yeah.
So our steps are going to be, we are starting with, you can see in the, somewhere in there, there's a, other camera.
It's all white.
It looked white. I was like, it looks like it's the right one. No show mesh, non-fusible, so no adhesive in there to mess with anything later on. And that is all that's in our hoop. We are using a 7x12 hoop. This is going to finish 8.5 by 6.5. So, and again, that is with the quilting.
Yeah.
But if you do not have that large of a hoop, you can just do the base design, which is much smaller than that.
And we went rogue, and we have not put fusible woven on the back of our background fabric. And we're going to see how it goes. There are multiples of each of these blocks. So if it is a catastrophic failure,
if it sucks,
we will do the other one correctly and then we'll be able
put
to
the bad one at the bottom.
yeah, and we'll be able to show you why you might need it.
Maybe what you should do instead.
But if you are doing this without the background quilting, I highly recommend the fusible woven on the back of it. Our favorite is the Easy Tee.
If you're planning to do free motion or maybe use a design center or IQ designer to quilt around them after the fact, you definitely want to have a fusible on there.
Right.
But we're going to see how the stabilizer of the batting actually
SnL gone rogue.
Hey, why not? So we'll make the mistake so you don't have to.
On ABC News tonight.
On ABC News. Well, here we go. All right. So first thing is going to be the placement line for our batting.
Yes. And we're going to do a little movie magic. So we'll be showing you the different steps, but we won't make you watch the whole stitch out because, wow, is that really boring.
So again, these are the steps for every block.
Yes.
Start with your no-show, non-fusible in the hoop, and then we're going to rock and roll.
Absolutely.
So this particular design, and I'm going to stab that most of these designs are going to be the same way, just without really reading them. You need to slide down to the bottom of the hoop so that your stem sits at the bottom, kind of like at the grass line, if you will.
Right.
Versus being in the middle of the hoop.
Yes.
So don't just load the design and leave it there, which is what we do
normally
the bulk of the time. This is sliding it down so that it is right along that bottom line of your quilting.
Yeah.
And if you're not quilting, there are very clear instructions as to where it should be at on your fabric.
Yes.
All right. I'm just going to...
That is the placement line for the batting.
Lay this whole thing on there.
We're just going to slap it down.
We're just going to slap it down. That looks square from back here.
It's definitely rectangular.
It is, but it just didn't look right. Let's go this way so it's not all in the camera. What do you think?
I think that's fantastic.
There's a black fuzz. Let's get rid of that. All right. So this is our batting. We're going to tack that down.
And we're using just plain old white right now because that's the color we decided we wanted to do the background quilting in.
So I like to kind of match my quilting to whatever that background fabric is. So I don't necessarily do white through the whole thing.
Right.
For something like this. What about you?
So especially for embroidery, I think it's good to have the background quilting kind of blend in the back and not necessarily be like the
prominent thing that you're looking at.
I think it takes away from the embroidery part that you're doing. But if you were using these background quilting designs for other things, there's definitely an appropriate time to use like a contrasting
color kind of thing. Yep. So you'll probably see us change our quilting color throughout this year.
Yes.
So
I suspect that is going to be the case.
Not going to be white every time.
No, but for this one, our background is like that gray-white stripe. And so we are definitely going to use that white in here.
All right. So we're going to get my scissors that I marked that I know are the good ones.
You going to take it over there and
I'll scoot it over here. Yeah.
So
I'll have a little blanket for half a second.
Yeah.
All righty.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So we are just going to remove our excess.
So get as close as you can to that line. That helps get that batting out of your seam allowance. And these are nice big squares, so as long as your scissors are good,
it goes pretty smooth. Yeah,
pretty good. Yeah, I was not cutting with sharp scissors yesterday, and I was like, the hurrier I went, the worse the scissors got.
So if you're anything like me, you may have like 10 pair of these somewhere floating around your room.
Sure.
Some of them in better condition than others. So these are my good pair. I've got a little ribbon on there just so that I know that's the ones I want to use if I can actually put my hands on them.
Exactly.
All right. Now, this next one I would probably skip if I was at home. This is just going to be the placement line for our background fabric. Sure, it will shock all of you. It's going to be right over top of this.
Shocker.
That doesn't fit underneath. Try those over here.
Now, we did an entire video on prepping your fabric. So our fabric has been prepped and we didn't put the Easy Tee on here.
Right. So we have two pieces because we're going to make 2 blocks of this. We will find that out very, very soon, whether this is a mistake or not.
That's right.
We're really hoping this is going to support.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. So this is, again, we're just doing the one on video for you here, and we'll center that over.
But our fabric has been starched.
Yep.
Pretty heavily.
Pretty heavily starched. Add that. Looks pretty straight. I don't want super crooked lines.
Yeah, especially with stripes, right?
Exactly. All right, we're going to tack that down. Color stop number 4.
If you got your fabric really crooked, this step is pretty easy.
It was a design choice. No,
yes, or this step is pretty easy to go back
take out
and
if you
take
needed
out.
to.
It's not a total commitment yet. But once you start quilting, I think you did really good.
Pretty darn close. So what I did is I folded my corner back and made sure my line was even with the edge, like just picked a stripe and lined it up with the edge of my batting to keep me fairly straight. So that was how I guesstimated that.
Right.
All right, so quilting is the next. This is about a 5-minute stitch. So we're going to get it started and then we'll meet you back here in just about 10 seconds. All right.
Lickety split.
Lickety split, it'll be done. All right, so the quilting is all done.
Right. Don't you wish it went that fast enough?
I know, right? Boom. Done. We should snap next time.
Yeah.
No. So we are going to now start the actual embroideries. So the first, I do say that a lot.
Actually, the first thing is the little
the alignment if you needed it for your non-quilting. So we can skip that.
We can. Or we could do it in white, but let's skip it.
So there is a little line with a center marking. If you are not doing background quilting.
I went the wrong way twice.
I'm like, where is it going? There'll be a little guy here. And in the instructions, again, it's very, very clear what you would need to do to place your fabric if you did not do the background quilting. This is the alignment that you would use to place your fabric.
Yes.
We are not going to stitch it so that it's not sitting in our stitch field.
Right. We also do not need to stitch the placement line for the fabric because our fabric is already down.
We don't. So those are the first two that are for the actual design. So our first few color stops were the quilting, and now we're into the actual design. So the first visible color is
color number 8, which is our green.
Yes, and we are using number
ES 990.
So this is, again, the darker green, number 990, first one that you're going to see from the embroidery aspect.
Yes, and this is in exquisite line, so that's what the ES stands for. And if you have purchased one of the SnL thread bundles, this one is in that kit.
Yep, almost everything
so far
that we use today anyways, almost. Not sure about this one, but that's okay. This is just a couple minutes, and we are going to stitch dark leaves and then some stems. Here we go. We'll be back in just a second.
Yep. Green.
Pretty green.
Pretty green. All right, stem is starting, and in just a second, we'll be done.
We'll be done, just like that.
All right, we are almost done with
last couple stitches.
Cute green. Isn't it neat how just changing the direction makes it look like we have 2 different shades of green in there?
It is crazy. This is really cool. So they do each half of the leaf separately, so you get actually a 3D feel, even though it's not there.
Exactly.
We are now going to change to the lighter green,
which is ES 950. Again, exquisite color. ES 950, and I'm stuck underneath here.
This one's called avocado or something like that.
I like this green.
I like this one too.
Leaf greens are hard to find sometimes, like getting 2 that you like together.
Greens they're too bright, they're too dull, they're something. This is a nice green. We're going to do some larger leaves and then one guy up here. It's going to be just a couple more minutes. Here we go. Nobody's commenting.
Right.
We're so alone. They don't like us?
They don't like us. All right. We're coming up to the end.
Almost done.
Of the green here. It's super cute. Avocado was a perfect choice.
Looks great.
I don't really like avocado except for in a color and a thread.
I like guacamole.
Yeah.
But I don't want just plain avocado. Caitlin loves it. Just could eat it all the time. Our next color is going to be a cute little set of flowers. They are balls. That is exactly what they are. So this is kind of I think the pop of color in the whole thing, to be perfectly honest.
Right. And this is ES 379. It's kind of a
purpley blue.
Purpley, yeah.
And you certainly could change this to be something else for a different type of pop. But we like this one, so it's what we're doing.
This is also in our thread kit, and this is actually about half the time as the leaves, so a little bit quicker.
Yep.
Circles are pretty quick. They don't have a long area to span.
And it appears, and it's going to do an outline. So it's going to cut and jump. So it'll add a hair to your stitch out time because it's going to actually cut and jump rather than just give you a stitch or a connection point in the design itself, which will make it take a hair longer than the 2 minutes that it's listed on our screen, but still not too bad.
And then after this, we're going to get into doing some of the applique, and we'll have 3 different fabrics that we'll be appliquing down on this.
So block number 1 is pretty straightforward. Nothing super crazy. Certainly nothing to be scared about. If you're a little nervous getting started, it'll be a nice... a
great beginning
applique block. Absolutely.
Yeah, a little bit of regular embroidery, a little bit of quilting, and a little bit of applique. And the shapes aren't too bad.
And the shapes look pretty straightforward to cut. You certainly could use the scan and cut, or whatever it is that
whatever cutting version you
personally own. We do get SVG files for each of these blocks, so that certainly is an option. And we were thinking that at some point we would talk about that but not today since we're actually going to attempt to get multiple blocks done.
Yes.
So
we're a little behind.
Yeah. I don't know how many we're going to get done today, but we're going to find out. We might have a wardrobe change in the middle of the video.
That would be funny. Hello.
Yeah. Wardrobe change in an app. I don't remember seeing that.
All right. So it looks like we have a little bit. Oh, I see. It's
like the leaf lines
in the light green. So we're going to go back to the dark green and we're going to put a little accent in there. That is here.
Interesting. Oh, here we are. Okay, yeah, that's dark green.
Yep.
Don't mind me. I just can't read. In case anyone was wondering, evidently. I thought my contact was doing pretty well today, but evidently not.
Psych.
You thought you could read.
Okay. This is a quick one.
Do.
Then we're going to start applique.
Yep. And the first one we're going to do is the peach one.
Yes. This is our outlier.
Interloper.
The rogue thread.
We literally went through all of the threads that we carried in store and nothing matched like we wanted to. They're called shrimp.
It is.
So our next color is actually an isocord color, and we do have it listed on our site. It is an available color if you're in the thread club to use your discount code with, because it matches so wonderfully and we've used it in kits. So
yep, so this is actually going to, next color, the peach color that we're going to be using is isocord number 1362, which is color called shrimp.
And it's fairly accurate.
Yep, it is. Oh, one more
Almost
line.
there.
The anticipation.
So, evidently, I say so a lot.
Yeah.
Jeff said we should make it a drinking game. I'm like, well, what are we drinking? Because
that could be for an interesting afternoon.
If it's as many times as you say, I think it better be water or soft drink. Because
is that how we get our all of our water intake?
Right.
There we go. Now we are threaded with shrimp.
There are times I say it on purpose, but I definitely I'm like, oh, yep, there's another one.
So this is going to be the outline of our flower, and the fabric that we have is the peachy honeycomb.
These guys.
And there's nothing on the back of this fabric except for a little bit of starch that we did ahead of time.
Yep, pardon.
And we're going to just cover all of our stitching. You could tape this down if you want. We're not going to do that. If you're new here, we're rebels.
We're rogues. Gone rogue.
Gone rogue. And if you did pre-cut your pieces, you're probably going to want to make sure that you're pre-cutting those pieces with some sort of fusible on the back. And you would want to fuse that in the line, inside those lines, because otherwise your foot's basically just going to push that around.
Yep.
Some people will use like a like maybe a glue stick or something like that. But I have found, especially in a shape like this, it's really hard to keep it.
The foot's going to move so back and forth so much, it will definitely push your fabric.
Yeah.
So you should definitely have some sort of a fusible.
Right.
My favorite when I'm doing things like this, if I have cut with that, is fusible applique that we have here at the shop.
All right.
I'm going to toss that your way.
Okay. Lisa's going to do a little bit of trimming.
Ooh, that color matches super well.
Yep. And she has her favorite 6-inch double curve scissors. And there is a satin stitch around this design, so you want to be close, but you don't have to like cut through those lines. Sometimes I trim so close I snip my stitches.
Tack down stitch.
Yeah.
I think that happens to everybody. And if you trim off a couple, it's not a big deal. If you trim them all off, that's a problem.
It's definitely a problem.
Because your foot will, again, push that fabric.
Exactly. It does not stay down. And then you say bad words.
No bad words. We don't want bad words.
There's no crying and sewing.
Or there shouldn't be.
No. We'll pause for that.
Okay. For my crying. Something has a purpose.
We're going to be back in just a second, and she's going to be all done.
Bam. Okay.
We are back at the machine, all cut out and ready to stitch again.
We are ready to stitch.
This is color number 14 if you have the quilting design in.
9 if not.
And 9 if you are.
And this is going to do a satin stitch all the way around.
Yes, yes. And we're still using
our isocord.
That shrimpy color.
Shrimp.
Yeah. And this is going to be, this is going to take a little bit. So we're going to have
some underlay going on too.
Yeah. We'll be back in a minute. And
this
it'll
is
be
the only one
nice
that I was worried about.
Yeah, but I think the underlay.
It seems just fine.
Underlay.
Arriba. Here we go.
All right. All right. That is super cute. I think it's going to do a little ring around the center, maybe?
Something.
Yep. That's good. It's looking a little unfinished.
That will be covered with a button, though. So.
But maybe in case you don't put
But if you don't want to put the button on there, this is going to finish the look for you. Or maybe just tell you where to put the button. Totally worth doing. Absolutely. Okay.
All right. Now we are going to change and put in color number ES506. I think this is the first color that is not in our kit.
Yeah, and it's probably in our
like one of the
extension number sets, but it's not in the original. Unless nobody marked it, which is also a possibility, but I don't think that it's in there.
Yes. And these flowers are two-toned. So we have the darker section, which is the top of the flowers, and then a slightly lighter section.
A little loopy. Oh, that little loopy.
Loopy. Mm-hmm. But you do only have one piece of dark pink and one piece of light pink. So they're going to be close enough together that you can put the one piece of fabric over both sections.
Yep.
So if you're looking at your block thinking, I don't have enough.
They're going on these two stem pieces here.
You're good.
Yeah, you don't use the two pieces for January for the two flowers. It's one per block.
Yes.
So.
And this is not directional fabric, so if you feel like you need to
angle
a little bit to get it to fit in.
Plenty big enough. All right.
You can tape if you wish. Now, if you are working on your blocks at home, You don't really see a lot of the background fabric coming through on this one, but we might see some coming through on this one. This is definitely one of those places where if you were using maybe a different background fabric, you might want a little bit of that fusible.
Yeah, this is a pretty pale stripe, but sometimes you can really see what's going on. The light pink, it partially covers this, and there's only a small gap, so I think we'll be okay with that one as well. But there's definitely some things to think about there.
Yeah, sometimes we use that fusible woven as a color blocker, not just as something that actually
supports
the fabric. Yep. All right, so we're gonna trim around those pieces just like we did that other flower. And then this is gonna be what looks to be like a candle wicking stitch when we get back to it, but we're gonna keep that same color in. All right, we have those all trimmed up. Lisa did such a great job. And now we are gonna do that fun little candle wicking stitch on the outside.
So it will not do the bottoms because that's where the lighter pink will be. It's just gonna go around the points up at the top.
Yep, and this is pretty quick.
It is.
And the stitch is also a little bit narrow.
That wasn't just me, right?
Nope.
Okay. Whoa.
So you do want to make sure that you're cutting close to that because
don't
there's
leave
not
a
a ton
big
of
wing there or you will have some fabric poking out.
Right.
And you certainly, I liked this color with it. I thought it looked really nice. It's got a little bit of a salmon tone to it. Mm-hmm. You probably could go a hair darker on here if you wanted, but I really like this.
Yeah.
We were discussing before we started, our thread set has been
ransacked.
Very, very strongly ransacked. There are pieces of it all over the store. So trying to track down the threads was a challenge, but I thought this was actually very pretty with it.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has a spring vibe.
Yeah.
Not it's snowing outside vibe.
No, which is, I mean, it's sunny out right now, so
at the
it's
moment,
kind of fitting. We started doing flowers and the sun came out. Next thing that we're going to be doing is the outline for the bottom part of the flowers. You could keep the same fabric, the same color in if you didn't want to change it right now, but since I'm going to be changing it anyways, why not?
Right.
We're going to move to color ES 302. Nope, we're going to do, oh, okay, I see what it's doing. So we are not going to do the bottom part of the applique. We're going to be doing the flower accent, which is color number ES117. So this is a dark gray. It's going to be a little petal detail. This is really quick. I used to put my thread colors in order.
Did, or I thought I did.
She didn't do a good job. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it would have helped if I actually looked at the whole thing instead of just making it up as I went along.
Oh, I mean, that's so much more fun, right? Carol?
Sure, that would make her day. Not that that's the main goal in my life, but
yeah, that would definitely be a good one. She probably would really appreciate that. Maybe even more, and use it.
Okay, so now we're going to go to the light pink.
Now we're changing, and you definitely want to change. Don't leave the gray in.
No, don't do that because you'll see it through the fabric for sure.
Right. ES302 is our color choice.
So often that little dark bits are at the end. It didn't dawn on me that it would be in the middle.
It would be randomly thrown in the middle.
Just randomly thrown in there.
Okay, Kimberbell digitizers. Way to just shake it up a little.
Gotta keep it real, right?
Keep us on our toes.
God forbid we look like we know what we're doing.
You cannot have that. Oh, there's a long tail there. I'm not even sure how that happened.
What tail?
It was unexpected. There we go. And this is a really small spot. It looks much bigger on here, doesn't it?
Oh. Good Lord. Somebody rocking it out there.
Yes. It is going nuts here in case you can't hear it. They might be able to hear it. I can see the little audio spiking.
That's fun. All right, so I don't know, you guys can see right through here the leaves and everything. So that's what we were talking about, is the lighter color of fabrics being see-through and having what's going on underneath possibly pop through. Fortunately, I think where it's placed at in this instance will be fine, but you should pay attention to that as you're going through. This is our last color stop. I just need to trim away the excess here.
Any tips for trimming any of these little pieces? Hold your tongue right.
Don't bite your... Honestly, I like to give myself an edge so that I pull up towards that stitch line, and it tends to give me a little crisper cut versus having it flat and my scissors rolling outward. So I like to keep my fabric kind of upright to keep me nice and close. There are smaller versions of these scissors if you are struggling getting into the points. When I go into the points like this here, I usually take smaller snips and then kind of rock my scissor into the point. So that's how I get in there. I'm actually not a big fan of the 4-inch double curve.
They're a little small to hold in
They're
your
a little
hand,
too
right?
small for me for comfort wise. So I prefer to get where I need to go here, and then if I can't, I'll actually get my little thread snips out to get into those little points.
Yeah.
If this is just too big of a tip to get into something, I prefer the thread snips for that detail bits personally. Or the micro tips. I really like those as well.
Yeah, the micro tips have slightly larger finger holes.
They have larger finger holes and they have a really tiny, imagine that, micro tip.
Yeah.
And some fabrics you can almost push the scissors a little bit and it cuts. You don't have to take bites. You can just kind of scooch.
Yeah, if your scissors are sharp enough,
If your scissors are sharp enough, yep. Almost there. So there we go.
Cute.
Here's the rest. All right, we still have that light pink thread in.
And now we're going to finish up the last little bit of the candle wicking, and this is also a pretty quick stitch.
Didn't bring my little heat pen.
Yeah, you know, maybe we can do a little video when we have a couple different blocks done on adding the embellishment.
That's probably smarter.
if you are not pre-quilting this design, or you plan on quilting a little bit afterwards, you probably don't want to put your embellishments on now. You want to wait until it's actually put together.
And dependent upon how much you think you're going to be manhandling them as well, it might still be better to wait until you get them pieced together before adding all of the different embellishment pieces.
Right. Or at least trimmed down.
Yes.
Because having a button in there is
when you're trying to put your scissors on there, and it's not scissors, your rotary ruler and cutter, it doesn't always play nice when you have embellishments on there. The orange pop rulers, it doesn't matter.
It helps.
You can have those in there and it wouldn't be an issue, but so
cute.
This is very darling.
Yep.
I actually really like the stitch out. In our embellishments, we have a black button, which will become the center of this here. For me, I'm going to put that on using my button attachment.
Right.
And just sew that right on. I don't do the hand thing unless I absolutely have to. And even then, I usually phone a friend.
Yep.
So I have a few of them here that actually enjoy that. So fortunately, I have that possibility. The other things that we have in here are these little rhinestone guys. And those are going to go on your, what are those called? Diamond tips?
Sure.
Something like that of the flower. So that's where your black lines there, you're going to put a rhinestone at the tip of those. And then you have this many of them because, of course, you're going to do that twice.
Right. You're going to need to repeat
you've got
this whole
4
block.
here and 4 here. And then you'll have on block number 2 the same.
Yep.
Which is why you have double of everything here. So very cute, very straightforward, which I think is a nice beginner block. You get, you know, just
get your feet wet.
Yep. Just dip your toe in and see how we're doing in here. So very, very cute. I think that turned out darling.
Yes.
Just gonna
I show it on the big one up there. Is that easier?
Probably. Let's go.
Yeah, that's much better.
So I'm just going to kind of zoom in here.
You can really see the shading of the petals and the leaves.
So, and again, this is where you're going to place the rhinestones.
Yep.
So these are hot fix rhinestones. There is a pen that...
It came in a Bella box a couple Bella boxes ago.
Did we get one?
We did.
I didn't remember that. I've owned one for so long. I guess it didn't register to me because I just quote unquote need it. Maybe it's still sitting in the Bella box.
It could be, yeah.
I might have some Bella boxes that aren't finished. That was the downside of not stitching them here.
I know.
They don't get stitched. The way that those work, they're like a metal tip that comes out basically of a pen. Mine's battery operated. There are plug-in ones. It just depends on what you're doing. And you've got your rhinestone and you literally just heat the top and the heat goes through the gem portion and melts the adhesive on the back, which adheres it to wherever it is that you're putting it.
Yeah, it's much better than trying to like place it down and then trying to get an iron
to work. You can't tell on your iron, you know, where's your steam holes and it just... it's a really great tool. Does that mean that you can't do it with an iron? No, I would definitely use a smaller iron that you have more control over rather than trying to use a large one if you don't have that tool. But the tool's great. I like to add rhinestones to different things.
A little glitz goes a long way.
It really does. You don't need a lot, and it really can make a big difference. This doesn't have a lot on there. I've used it in like peacocks. Feathers for the tips, the plume on a peacock's head, and just giving it a little extra something. I've put them in cards. I've put them all over the place.
Yes.
Do you know you can heat those to cards, to paper.
You can,
You can add so much fun.
Yes, they really are a lot of fun, and you can find them in lots of different colors and different things. So if that little light purple isn't your thing, you can certainly add those. Or if you didn't get an embellishment kit, you can find.
So I will say the hot fix rhinestones are a little bit harder to find than just a glue-on rhinestone. And that's certainly an option, but they're much messier, way harder to actually manage.
Yeah.
You know, you've got more things going on where this one you just literally right wherever you want it to go. but we do have some here. We don't have like 16. You get a bag full, but we do carry some different colors and things here. But to get the same type, again, these are hot fix, which means they are going to be heated to be adhered, not glue.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Not sticky wet glue.
So we hope that you had a lot of fun making your first block. Of course, you could be watching this in any order, and that may not be your first block.
It might not. That's very, very true.
But this is the January block.
January block for the Wallflower Quilt.
Yes, for 2025.
2025. So we will be doing the videos. I really like the idea. Let's not try to do all of the embellishments at the block.
Yeah.
Let's put them all together. We'll have like an embellishment video on where to add those, because
it makes more sense.
It does make more sense to not try to put them on too soon. So we will take a separate video for an embellishment, attachments and whatnots. And we might have to phone a friend, because you like to hand sew about as much as me.
I know, right?
But there are, unfortunately, probably going to be some hand sewing needing to be done in there.
Don't say that word yet. It's too early for that.
It is definitely, it's always too early for that. Always.
All right.
Okay. We will see you on the next one, February, the bonus, and then March is going to come right up before we know it. So
happy stitching,
all right.
guys.
Happy stitching.
Bye.